I get people have an affinity for Jimmy, and I do as well because I remember we were going through some of our darkest times before Jimmy,
Mhm.
and I liken it to like a girl who's going through a bad patch. Like we were the girl. The 49ers was a girl going through a bad patch. Then all of a sudden, Jimmy came out of the blue. We went on 5 dates. And then all of a sudden we were like, oh man, we gotta wife this.
Yeah.
We gotta get. So we engaged Jimmy. We gave him an engagement ring. And a year into planning for the wedding, Jimmy's like, well, I gotta go on a sabbatical. And you're like, what? So you're like, all right, you know what? I've been out of the game for you. It's just a year. Now, as the 49ers, we get to work on ourselves. And that's what we did the year Jimmy was out. We worked on ourselves. We built depth within the organization. I think the 2 years that Jimmy wasn't there, I think those were Kyle Shanahan's and Robert Saleh's, some of their best coaching. Because usually other teams, when that happens, they go in the tank. The 49ers were competitive. And then what happens? Jimmy comes back the next year and he has a gift. Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa. So it's like, all right, Jimmy did hurt us, but he came back with Bosa and then he took us to a Super Bowl. And it's only 1 year starting. You saw what it can be. And then he took another year off. So it's like we have this love-hate relationship with Jimmy, but what were we before him? Think about it. Like the 49ers, they're not an organization that goes through quarterbacks. We've had Joe, Steve Young, Tim Rattay. I like saying his name like that. Garcia, Colin, Alex Smith, and now Jimmy. And just to speak to how it's different, because when you look at the Dolphins, you've seen the precipitous fall they've gone through. And why? So many quarterbacks since Dan. There's never been any continuity. There's never been a foundation set up since Dan Marino left. They never had a succession plan. At least the 49ers had Steve Young to fall back on. And then after him, they had Jeff Garcia. And of course, we went through our moments, but that's why, like, I don't want to jump around on topics, but I could go anywhere with it. Like, I could go into the gold standard about the 49ers,
Well,
but
hold on. No, let's stick
yeah,
with
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do you
Stay with
feel
it.
the Niners are railroading Jimmy? It seems like that's where you're going with this. That
Yeah, yeah.
they have their issues with Jimmy, but look where they were before he came here. Look at Shanahan's record with any other quarterback he's ever coached, and think about what could happen if they get rid of Jimmy and this new quarterback doesn't work out.
Exactly.
Do you feel they're railroading Jimmy?
Yes, because I understand his injury, it bothers me. It really does. And I remember as a Dolphin fan, I remember he came in 2 games while Tom Brady served a 4-game suspension. And he can only complete 2 of them, really, because he got hurt in the Dolphin game. And that's how the world got introduced to Jacoby Brissett, because Jacoby Brissett finished the final 2 games and then Brady came back. So I really never thought about it. And then when he became a Niner and he lost that year by running on the sideline and taking a bad sack, like, you should have just ran out of bounds, Jimmy. Like, what are you doing? And then he loses the entire year. I'm like, all right. And then last year with the ankle, I'm like, all right, now this is a problem. But when the guy's there, he has all the physical tools. He has an issue with process and shoot. Like, it's just process, it's not there. Then it's just everything goes haywire.
Yeah.
That's the problem I have with him. Like, after the first read isn't there,
6 plays a game where he freezes, right?
Yeah, he just freaks out. And a perfect example. What was the moment for you, Grant? Because I have mine. What was the moment for you, Grant, when you were like, do we have a franchise quarterback with Jimmy? Like, what was that aha moment? Your aha, is Jimmy the franchise guy moment?
I want to say week 1 or week 2, 2018. I mean, he didn't play well against Minnesota. He threw 3 picks in that game. And then he came back and beat Detroit. But that was the game when he started freezing. He took 6 sacks. And there was play after play where he would drop back and just have no idea where he wanted to go with the ball. And that's not what I expected to see, because he played so much better the year before before he learned the offense. It seemed like this offense wasn't necessarily going to be a good fit for him. What about you?
Mine, I saw those games and I just took it into, because remember, we came from we were the dregs of the league, and then we were kind of Super Bowl dark horses that year.
Yes.
Jimmy got hurt.
Yep.
So I just took it as, a couple game jitters. But for me, it was last season, and it was the I remember it specifically. It was remember the Jadeveon Clowney sack fumble?
Yes.
In the first Seattle game when we were undefeated?
Yes.
Bro, I watched Jimmy go downhill from then. Like,
yes.
It's like after Jadeveon Clowney hit him, it was like, wow, this hurts. I don't want to do that anymore. So he was like, bro, it was like every time something like the game got too big for Jimmy, he would kind of go in the tank, and there'll be decisions that he'll make in certain games. I'll be like, wow. And then another part about it was I watched everyone get on him about the Emmanuel Sanders, and I even did. You feel me? Like I got about him on the Emmanuel Sanders Super Bowl. So much so I've watched that Super Bowl that one time. I've never watched it again. And I could argue that if Emmanuel Sanders was faster and younger, maybe he catches up to that ball. Mm-hmm. But then I'll look at 3 examples. Remember the New Orleans game when he underthrew Emmanuel Sanders? Mm-hmm. And he had to come back for it, fall down, roll around, and get up and run for it. Yep. And then remember the Rams game, the 3rd and 16, and he underthrew Emmanuel Sanders again?
Yes. Yeah.
So it's like, all right, you underthrow him these 2 times, but you overthrow him in the Super Bowl?
Yep. That would have been the better time to underthrow him. Give him a chance.
Exactly. Give him a chance. So I'm like, bro, it's like the bigger the moment, the smaller the Jimmy. So, like, to the point, I don't even call him Jimmy no more. It's Slim Jim, but it's Slim Jim because, bro, you gotta come up, bro. You've been behind Tom Brady. You've been in Belichick's system. You've been around the Super Bowl all your career, basically. Like, I think he's missed the Super Bowl, 3 years of his career. So Jimmy shouldn't be looking like this. 29 years old, been in the league this whole time. But at the same time, Mac Jones, I don't believe is ready to go. Trey Lance, we'll get there. But that's what I mean. Like, people want to say Mac Jones will come in and take us to the promised land. I don't believe so, because the NFL is a game of repetition. When you're on the field, the more times you're on the field, the slower the game gets for you.
There you go.
Now, if you're in college and the game is just so easy for you that you can sit back and just throw the ball up and down, you're going to get a rude awakening when you come into the NFL, because it's not going to be that easy. Everybody's good. Everybody's fast. And one thing I learned about the NFL, they love first-round quarterbacks. They love to prove them wrong. They love to destroy them. And all the hype they've been hearing about, this guy's going to come in, he's going to be the next this, the next that. They love. Don't you think that the people who Denver, the Raiders, the people who made Tua look pedestrian, that's a feather in their cap, because they heard for 2 years how Tua was the best thing since sliced bread. Mm-hmm. And he comes into the league and very underwhelming performances. So it's like, these teams, trust me, like they watch everything, they read everything. And you don't think they're reading about Mac Jones? Like, the guy is so insecure, he calls himself Mac. Your real name is McCorkle. Like, bro, like, your real name is McCorkle. So you were so embarrassed about your name that you told everyone to call you Mac. I didn't know his name was McCorkle until you said it 2 weeks ago. I promise. I promise. I put this on everything I love. I did not know this man's name was McCorkle. So that tells me something right there. I get deep into it, bro. If you're telling the world my name is Mac, that means you're embarrassed of your name. And then you have these little issues off the field. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, there's too much going on with Mac Jones for me.